Hey, it's StoryCub!
Hey, it's Stephanie. This story is called Allie the Fairy. Over the ridge where no human sails, in a small fairy kingdom that's called Fairy Trails, so small that it fits on the tip of a petal, is a small water lily where all fairies settle. Allie, a fairy on this speck of a town, is different than all of the other fairies around. Some fairies are pixies that like to play tricks. Some fairies are dryads that hide in the sticks. There are gnomes who hide treasures and try to be scary. Then there's one we all know, and her name's the Tooth Fairy. But Allie the Fairy was not like the others. She looked nothing at all like her sisters and brothers. Her hair was the hue of a glorious spring, with glimmering flecks on each pastel wing. She looked nothing at all like the fairies that hatched. She was quite different, and simply mismatched. The Fairy Queen often cajoled and commanded, and pleaded and urged and even demanded fairies should dance, and they simply were meant to hop flower to flower and spread out their scent. But Allie just lay staring hour after hour at each lovely petal and blossom and flower. She tried to imagine them lining the streams as she lay in her pea pod at night in her dreams. And by day, Allie captured it all in her mind, the sunrise, the sunset, and bugs of all kind. She'd study their wings and the way that they shine. She'd memorize each little curve of their spine. Allie loved all that she saw in the world. Her mind captured pictures which twisted and twirled. She flew with the butterflies into the blue because they were magnificent daydreamers too. Allie, her friend the butterfly pleaded, "Listen to me. I know just what is needed. Come with me, Allie, let's go for a stroll. I know who can help you. He's Hector, the troll." Right before leaving, they sipped upon nectar. Then the two flew off in search of old Hector. "This is the cave," he said with a shout. Then the butterfly quivered as Hector came out. He was old and quite green, and he wore tattered clothes, and he had a huge wart at the end of his nose. "Who are you?" the old troll gleamed with delight. "I'm Allie, a fairy. Some call me a sprite. I'm here because all of my pictures are clouded. There's not enough room in my head. It's too crowded." "You must be a fool," he started to taunt. "I'll only help you if I get what I want." "What's that?" Allie asked as she shivered and trembled. She once knew a snake that he closely resembled. "Your wings," cried the troll, and he started to groan. "I've always wished to have wings of my own." And so beneath the darkening shade, Allie made this troubling trade. He grabbed the wings and danced a jig before handing Allie an odd little twig. She held the twig closely, and she was quite sure the twig was now happy and started to purr. "Use the twig," said the troll, "for all you attract. This will free up your mind, so it won't be jam-packed." Then, with a bump and a stomp and a fright, Hector was gone in the blackest of night. The butterfly flew off, leaving Allie alone, and now she was forced to walk home on her own. What would she say to the top fairy queen? What was this twig? What did it all mean? She looked at a blue jay that settled downriver. Just then the twig, well, it started to quiver. Allie's hand jerked. Then it lunged till it settled and painted a blue jay on top of a petal. Allie spied a leaf, which the fall winds had blown. With her twig, she soon painted it on a large stone. The twig and her hand were two forces combined, able to capture the beauty she saw in her mind. Allie flew home, though she didn't have wings. There was so much to paint. There were all kinds of things. As she got closer, she entered a fog. Twisting her ankle, she fell on a log. She picked herself up right off on the lawn, and looked in her hand, but the twig was now gone. With her head in her hands, Allie rubbed her small chin. She'd given her wings. What a fool she had been! All the sunsets and flowers, the beetles and dawn would never be captured. Like the twig, they were gone. Suddenly, a hummingbird swerved around the bend. It snuggled and cooed. "I will help you, my friend. Hop on my back and grip tight to my holders." Soon Allie nestled upon her blue shoulders. Then up in the sky the two quickly flew, and they aimed for the clouds that were dappled with dew. "Allie, this is your canvas," the hummingbird gushed. "The clouds are your paint, and your hand is your brush." Soon Allie was painting way up in the clouds, and far down below her watched all of the crowds. The fairies admired her cloud-covered art. Their favorite of all was her cloud-covered heart. There inside the heart was a cloud-covered note. Allie sent them a message, and here's what she wrote. "I love painting and drawing and all kinds of art. I've learned quite a lot, and here's the best part. It's okay to be different deep down in your heart." Now when the fairies search high in the sky, they look up to Allie and wave to say hi. She makes fairy trails a lovelier place, which gives Allie the Fairy a smile on her face. What a fun fairy adventure. Allie the Art Fairy.
StoryCub believes there's no better way to get kids excited about reading than through the interaction between a parent and a child. If your child likes this story, then they'll love the experience of you sitting down and reading the book with them. You'll be glad you did.